Maseches Bava Metzia Daf Yutes Amud Aleph. Yutes Amud Aleph Bava Metzia. We are in the second wide line. Yeah, okay. And the shir is Le'ilu Nishmas Tovimori Menachem Ben Akiva. Le'ilu Nishmas Sobas Moshe. Le'ilu Nishmas Os Bas Shalom. Le'refuas Choil Yisrael. Daiti Kimatono. Tono Abonon. We saw in the Mishnah that what happens if a person finds a star in the street that's matono. Let's not talk about gittin anymore. We're done with gittin. Yeah, we're not talking about divorce today. It's okay.
Now we're looking about the slavery.
Now we're even done with slavery. Yeah, okay, more or less the same, some people would say. And then what's the story? We have somebody who found something much more innocuous in the street, and that is a shtar matono. It's a shtar that says that somebody gives a matonos to somebody else, a gift. I'm gifting you $1 million or a field worth $1 million. Or let's see the rest of the story. And then what? What do we say? If you found such a thing, don't give it back to the supposed recipient, yeah, the ones that the gift's supposed to be given to, because maybe it fell from the hands of the giver. And maybe the giver never actually gave it. Maybe the giver just wrote it and then regretted. Maybe some people want to write a gift and then the other guy's not so nice to them anymore, and then they'll say, no, I'm not giving it. So it fell from the giver who was never the giver, the potential one, and you're giving it to the wrong hands. And that's the story of the Mishnah. Tono Abonon says the Braisa. Ezoi daitiki. What does it mean daitiki? One of the gifts mentioned there, one of the shtoros of the documents mentioned in the Mishnah is called daitiki. What does daitiki mean? The Gemara does. If you don't know, you're in good company because the Gemara doesn't know either. Third wide line. Yutes Amud Aleph. Do tehe lemekam v'liyos, which means daitiki is basically a shortened form. Yeah, it's like a condensed form of three words. Do tehe kai. This will be. This shall be lemekam v'liyos. This should be forever. My gift will be a strong gift forever. What does that mean? She'im meis. If somebody dies, nechosov leploini. If I would use very Balabatisha terms, it's a will. It's a will. Basically, a person writes a daitiki is a shtar of a shchiv mera. Shchiv mera is a person who is about to die. Yeah, is somebody terminally ill who we assume is going to die, and so does he. He believes the doctors that he's going to die. Yeah, foolish man. And then what happens? He gives a matana. He says, "My assets will go to this and that guy." In this case, he doesn't say it. He writes it down. Now you have to know that if somebody is a shchiv mera and he writes, my assets will go to this and that and the other, he can regret the matana, which means the shchiv mera's gift would only kick in, would only start when the guy dies, right? Either a second before, a second after his death, and somehow that's going to circumvent the natural Yerusha. But it will happen after death. If he regrets and afterwards he writes, that's very important to remember for the following sugya. If he writes afterwards, no, I'm not giving that Reuven my will, he changes the first will, then the second will kicks in. You may think it's very simple because that's the law today, but it's not simple at all. Because usually by kinyonim, a regular kinyan, you can't just undo. Yeah, if I sell my house to someone, and it's all written and given to him. I can't wake up the morning after like some, flippant kind of person, and say, no, actually belongs to Levi. It doesn't work like that. But Shchiv Mera, it does. But Shchiv Mera, if it's all done legally, either verbally or written, my second will automatically cancels the first one. Let's continue. Matono. What is the matono? What is the shtar matono? The shtar of a gift, which we mentioned also in the Mishnah. Any matono where it's written, misa. A matono means as follows. It's Machlokes Rishonim. Rashi explains, misa is as follows. A person wants to bequeath something to his friend, not necessarily his son, to somebody else, or maybe to a very important cause. Let's say the donkey's sanctuary, very, very important cause. Yeah, he wants to, how can you live without it? And he wants to basically bequeath all his money to them. So he says, listen, right now, I still want to enjoy life. I'm not dead yet. So somehow he's making sure that the matono goes to them halfway, and then after his death, it will be fully theirs. What do you mean halfway? There are different ways to do it. Says Rashi, We all know about guf and peres, the body of the land and the usage of the land. Says the person, the body of the land belongs already to the recipient now. Let's I want to give it to my friend Reuven, not to the donkey sanctuary for some reason. And I say, Reuven, the land is yours from now, but I leave myself the ownership over the peros, over the enjoyment of it, which means over the fruit, the rent, the gains, the profits are mine. So you don't really have anything real, but because you have one foot through the door, when I die, it will be fully yours, because then I'll remove my barrier, which is my ownership over the profit from the land, and then you'll be the full owner. That's one way of Mehayom L'achar Misa. There's also Tosfos, which learns differently. Tosfos says, Mehayom L'achar Misa, basically, Tosfos and the Rosh, they say, it's basically like Shchiv Mera. It basically is a matana in which a person says that the matana will kick in after death. Once I'll be dead, retroactively, it will be yours, which is a big enough kamina. Retroactively, it will be yours, and that will outdo any other kinyonim. But if I regret between now and my death, I can regret. It's not a regular matana. Anyway, and that's matana. That's a matana. Frag the Gemara, Alma, you're telling me this is a normal matana? If the person wrote in the matana this interesting condition, meaning from today till after my death, this process of the matana starting now, something started now and finishes off after my death, who dekani, only that's a matana, the Eloi, loikani. If I don't make that condition, it's not a matana, mapitam. A regular matana, he's not with all these funny conditions. Regular matana, Baruch Hashem, I'm alive and kicking. I go to the gym twice a week. I don't think of dying, and I'm giving him matana. I'm giving him matana, my karka of $1 million. Yeah, why saying this is matana? The only normal matana in the world is the matana with this condition of from today till after my death. Amar Abaye, no. Says Abaye, enochinam. You're right. Hachi komer. This is what we're talking about. We don't talk here about any matana. We mean to say, Ezahi matnas bori shehi ke matnas shchiv mera delokani el leachar misa. Oh, that's what we mean to say. Trying to say like this. Let's say the person is healthy, wealthy, and young, tall, dark, and handsome, gym twice a week, every day. He is a very healthy guy. And when could such a guy give him a matana that would be equivalent to shchiv mera? Which means a shchiv mera, by his medical condition, the guy is in hospital, connected to many tubes and EKG and all that. This guy, even if he just says, all menechasim go to the Reuven, automatically they go to Reuven, right? Shchiv mera, and they go to Reuven after the death. That goes automatically without extra conditions, but the fact is a shchiv mera. Let's say the guy is healthy, and he wants to give him a matana that would function like a shchiv mera's matana, meaning he also wants to jump on the bandwagon to have such a system of my matana works from now till la'achar misa. My matana works from now, but only I want you to be secured. I don't want let's say I love my friend more than I love my children. Ever read all these, fantastic novels? The guy likes whatever, some friend or some institution, doesn't like the children. So he knows automatically if I die, what's going to be? Automatically it will belong to the children halachically. As opposed, I don't know the Goyish law, I don't care about the Goyish law actually. Yeah, but in Jewish law, if you close your eyes and go to Gan Eden, it automatically belongs to children. Yeah, let's say the guy has children, okay? So now he doesn't want to go to the children, he wants to go to the donkey place or to the cancer, the cancer organization, or to his next door neighbors who help him, or the Filipino worker that helped him, can give matana to a goy. He wants somebody, how do you do it? And he's still healthy. So what do? He could do that trick of, I'm giving you matana, you have 1 foot through the door now, because you're the owner of the body of the thing, of the land, although you can't use it yet, I'll use it. And after my death, it will morph, it will turn into full ownership, and then my kids don't have anything to say, because you already have 1 foot through the door before them. How could you do that even if you're not a shchiv mera, even if you're not sick in bed? The guy sick in bed, Chachami made a special takana for him. It's a Gemara in Bava, all over the end of Bava, if you remember, Daf Kuf Nun Gimel, how can you have a matana when you're healthy and yet have that kind of matana of from now till my death? How can you do that? On that, the Braisa said, Kol shekosu b'mayom ulachar misa. Very good. Only if he said, I give you the matana from today, developing till after my death. Again, different explanations. That kind of matana is the matana, and according to Tosfos and Rosh, that's the matana that the Mishnah spoke about. If you found such a matana in the street, don't give it back. Why? Maybe the guy regretted, right? Many times, you know how many people change over the wheels? Many people change wheels. You know, today this child called him to say good Shabbos. The next time the kid told him to say good Shabbos. Changes wheels according to his will. So in other words, yeah, maybe the guy wrote the will, wrote the star bori equivalent to shchimah. Maybe he changed his mind. So don't be too quick and run to give it to the recipient because maybe maybe regretted. So in case of that, do that. Keep it to yourself. Ask Beth Din what to do. Now, what? That will be discussed also, right? But even if he didn't die, that's not that. I'm not. It's a good point. If maybe he didn't die, but besides that, even if he didn't die, it's in both cases it's not good because the matana starts now and will develop later. So, and the guy who didn't ever get it said, "Oh, Hashem loves me." Before Rosh Hashanah, I know that the guy didn't really want to give it to me, and then the finder runs to my house with a star that's not really supposed to be mine, and he'll use it, of course, use it against the children, and will unjustifiably take all the assets. Now the Gemara comes with the same question, the very similar question which you asked about the get Isha and about the Eved. The same question appears again. Today, we're going to see a huge surprise. Today, everything will be completely the opposite of anything else you know. Time. Correct the Gemara, second to last line, the penultimate line. Time Deloy Omar Tnu. The only reason mentioned in the actual Mishnah is maybe the guy, who's the guy? Maybe the giver, the supposed giver, maybe he, because he did not tell me, give it to Shimon. Let's say Reuven is either, good point, not alive, or Reuven is, Reuven is now in the Bahamas. Where is he? He's in Vanuatu. Vanuatu is near Australia. Yeah, okay. Maybe the guy is not around. You don't know what he wants, the giver. I don't know if the giver actually wanted to give it. He wanted. If he gave it or didn't give it, I don't give it because he never told me to give or not to give. Ha Omer Tnu. That is to say, Lu Yitzuyer, if really Reuven, not Reuven, the giver really is here, and the giver says, yes, give it to him. He says, give him the document, then nice, then it's good. Hazel Tov, yeah, as opposed to Gittin and Shibudim in stories, here, yeah, it's very nice. If we say that the one written in the star is the giver, confirmed and told me, the finder, give it to the recipient, then I give it to the recipient. Nice, all good, not good at all. Or Aminu, oh, here we have trouble. Oh, let's open the screen. Oh. I'm sorry that not everybody in Zoom can see everything, but maybe part of it. Yeah. Or Aminu. I'm sorry, it's all in Hebrew. I know it's a very strange language. Yeah, I'll translate everything. Veraminu. Now we ask a question as follows. Matsud Yatekois, let's say a person found a daitiki, which is basically a will, a document of will. Apotkois, by the way, what's an apoitiki? Remember? Apoitiki, yeah, rings the bell. Apoitiki is a shibud over a specific piece of land. Let's say a person had a loan, and that loan was balpeh. The loan was just verbal, oral, and therefore the loan cannot have any shiabudim, any mortgages. And then they wrote a separate document only to mortgage the land. Yeah, not for the loan. The loan was given, and they all know it. Yeah, it's a special mortgage a document only to mortgage a specific land, and he found it in the streets. Umatonos. Let's say the matonos we talked about are gift. I'm gifting you a piece of land from now after my death. Even if both a giver and recipient admit that this should go to the recipient, even the giver said, yes, give it to Reuven. Now, from now on, his name will be Reuven. Give it to Reuven. Reuven is Reuven the recipient. Reuven recipient. And there's a document written for Tishrei. When is Tishrei? I think it's coming soon. Yeah, there's a document that says, I, Mr. Shlomil Shlomazel, I give my land, $1 million asset land, to Reuven and Tishrei. Lo yachzir, lo lezeh, velo lezeh. Don't give it neither to the giver nor to Reuven the recipient. Why is that? Says Rashi as follows. And soon, yeah, I'll show it to you. Excuse me, Zoom people. Yeah, we're going to look at the thing. Reuven, there is the date of the star is for Tishrei, and now I found it in Kislev. Kislev is 2 months later. In Kislev, I found a star that says Reuven should be getting a star in Tishrei. So what's wrong? We think that's why I made it in such a bubble. We're concerned because we say Reuven may have regretted. Says Rashi, maybe he did regret it, giving him the gift, and he never gave him the star. He never gave him the star. So what? But if he now says to give it, okay. So now he's saying to give. Here in Kislev, he says give. Yeah. Here he says give. Yeah, give him. I want you to give him. Yeah. Yeah, it says give. Please give now in Kislev. Ay. We're concerned maybe in Shimon, maybe in Cheshvan, he gave, maybe in Tishrei, he never gave him the star. It's written but not given, which is our concern. It may happen. People change their minds. Even men change their minds, not only women. And now in Cheshvan, he really gave it to Shimon. He actually did give. He gave Shimon on Cheshvan and then regretted giving him. Because the day after he gave Shimon the beautiful gift, Shimon is the Gabbai of the shul, didn't give him an aliyah. Yeah, and Shimon didn't smile to him broadly, like, Sesame Street. He wasn't nice to him. He says, shucks, stupid me. Why did they give Shimon the gift? I can't change it. It's given to Matono. And then Hashem loves the giver. The giver has no name here. It's the giver. Maybe it's called Shlomazel. Then, you know what happens? He gets a phone call saying, are you Mr. So-and-so? Yes. I found the star written to Reuven from Tishrei. Yeah, give it to Reuven. What a beautiful way to take revenge on Shimon. And illegally, but using the law on my side, I will now give Reuven the star in Kislev written for Tishrei. And everyone will think, Reuven and everybody will think that Reuven is the owner of the land before Shimon. Then Reuven will go knock on the door of Shimon illegally. Yes, Mukdam, our good friend Mukdam. And knock on the door and say, excuse me, Shimon, you got the land with a very kosher star on when? In Cheshvan? In Tishrei, I got it, which is a lie. He really got it in Kislev, but the date, that's the arrow over here. That's a dangerous arrow of Mukdam. It was given to him really on Kislev when Mr. Nice Guy found it in the street, but really the date shows Tishrei, and that Keilu outsmarts, backdates Reuven to be before Shimon, and that's false, because really Shimon was first, and Shimon was really given. Now the giver regrets, and it's too late. And now he says to himself, never too late. Hashem loves me. Somebody found the star which I wrote but never gave to Reuven, but now I love Reuven more, and I want to give it to Reuven. Now in Kislev it will be given to Reuven with the false pretenses that was really in Tishrei, and that will be. I prefer no questions. Yeah, that would be the issue, and that's why we are choshesh. That's a question. So why do we say in the Mishnah that the only reason is maybe he's just AWOL, we don't know what's with him, but if he says yes and you give him, no. Even if Mr. Giver says yes, give him, we're concerned. Maybe, again, it's a maybe. I imagine with Shimon, maybe there's somebody out there. Why are we concerned like that? Why should we be so, excuse my language, paranoid to think that way? Usually by regular stars, we're not concerned like that. Why are we concerned about this star more than other stars? Because it fell. Come on, guys. It's been already a few weeks for the fallen star, right? Since Daf Yud Beis. If a star falls, we always say, once fallen, then it's a fallen star. Then we say, then it's already suspected to be a problematic star, because good stars that are kosher and are not played games with, that are not trickery involved, those stars usually keep very well. Maybe it's a good honest star, maybe. But in case of doubt, do without. And the Chavrusa told me a very true thing. Like we said yesterday, if Beis Din says to give it back, they endorse it. If it's done by itself, mela, but if Beis Din says yes, give it to him, it's as if Beis Din are endorsing something which potentially is wrong, because maybe Shimon is losing. It's a fallen star. Okay, yes, questions, but quick. What's going on? Yeah, we're now following halacha. It's not difficult, and here we're going to throw the big bomb. Loy kasha, it's not difficult. Depends what kind of matana was given to Reuven. What kind of star did you find in the street? Is it a star of a bori, a regular star, a regular matana that starts today and finishes today, a regular matana that kicks in now, or a shchiv mera? I'll give you the answer now. I'll give the formula right now, and that will make the Gemara now is very long and very wordy. And some people, the Ritva says that this Gemara is not an original Gemara. Parts of it were written by the Geonim. Yeah, the Geonim before the Shonim was inserted in the Gemara. I'll tell you the one line which will help you navigate very easily through the Gemara. I'll give you the code to the door, to the treasure. We keep saying all the time, Mukdam, 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 Mukdam. Early star is always the nemesis of everybody, right? Why? Ishtar Mukdam is a lie. Yeah, it was really given in Kislev, and it looks as if it's earlier. And when it comes to Shtaras, first comes, first served. It's like the line in the bank, like the Israeli line. Everyone respects the line and nobody jumps the queue, right? And first, second, like in Switzerland, third, and that's usually the way it goes. And if you bring the bank the ticket that shows I'm number 2, right? Even though it's really number 22, it's a lie. It shows as if he came there earlier. When it comes to Shchiv Mera, it's just the opposite. And that one line will change your world forever. Shchiv Mera is just the opposite. Because when you talk about wills, which one is the relevant one that will prevail? The first or the second? The second. The earlier, the worse. Because if I have a will on Tishrei saying something and a will on Cheshvan saying something else, the Cheshvan one will win. Because, yeah, lahavdil from the Goyim, here, the mere fact that I wrote another star, it's as later than the Shchiv Mera. I gave a gift. Yeah, I wrote a Shchiv Mera in the month of Tishrei, right? In the month of Cheshvan, I wrote a gift for the very same money, for the same very piece of land. I wrote it to who? To somebody else. That cancels out the Shchiv Mera. So in Shchiv Mera, the later the better. Bimela there's no chash mukdam. Because if this story is a Shchiv Mera story, if this story of Reuven receiving the get in Kislev, and I'm tricking, I'm making him get the star that looks earlier, that's bad. Because if his Shchiv Mera document is here in Tishrei, and a month later in Cheshvan, there's something else, the Cheshvan guy will win. Therefore, there's no concern. And that's basically the answer. The Gemara will elaborate and go in and out, but Lamaisa, that's the answer. You've got it. I'm not saying you should go to sleep now, but you got the answer. The Gemara will just elaborate more. Now let's go. Now you're ready to fly. It's going to be very easy. Masnis in the Ktani, the Mishnah that says, Ha'omer tnu noisnin, when the Mishnah says that Mr. Giver says, yes, give it to Reuven, no problem, and we're not concerned of anything. B'shchiv mera. We're talking about a document. It says in the document itself, Shchiv mera document, by the way, has different wording. It says, I'm writing this when I'm sick in bed. Whatever. When I'm sick in bed, I'm writing this. Oh, then the bar mehaderhu. It is a reversible star. Regular kinyan, you can't reverse. The house belongs to him. Shchiv mera is bar mehader. It's reversible. It's revocable. Damrin, and we say, Michael Meimar, what's your concern? What's your big worry? Dil makosba mikor lehai. Maybe you originally wrote it to Reuven. The imlich v'lo yahavani alei. He regretted giving it to Reuven here in Tishrei, right? And never gave it to him. Reuven wasn't nice, so he kept it in his drawer, never gave it to Reuven. The Hadar, afterwards, the next month in Cheshvan, Kosva le'ini shachrina, he wrote it to somebody else, to Shimon, b'yavani alei, and gave it to Shimon. And you know what happened the morning after he gave him a tonah to Shimon? Shimon was sour-faced to him. Shimon didn't say good morning. How unneighborly and terrible. And I gave him $1 million gift. He didn't say good morning. Oy, 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 oy. He regretted giving it to Shimon, but too late. It's in Shimon's hand. Shimon is the legal owner. He has all the documents and everything he needs. Now the guy is eating his hat, as we say in Hebrew, yeah? That Shimon has the gift. And here comes now the light at the end of the tunnel. What happened now? Yeah? If he gave Shimon a matnas bori, let's say he gave Shimon a regular matana, starting today as a healthy person, regular matana, leisle pseida. Then Shimon, our imaginary Shimon, which we're concerned maybe lost something here, that Shimon in the middle between the monkeys over here, then he has no loss whatsoever. Why? The chinaf katarti, when at the end of the day, Reuven and Shimon will both go to Beis Din before the death, after the death, to confront each other. Who's going to win? Basraisa Zochi. The second star will win. The second star will win, and not the first star. The second one will win. Here, yeah, the second one. You're the one that says Cheshvan, which is later than Tishrei. He'll win the jackpot because B'shchiv Merah. The second one is because the second matana canceled out the will of Tishrei. So there's no concern, right? Because he regretted the Tishrei one. On the contrary, the earlier the worse. Let's say Shimon got it in the form of Shchiv Merah. Let's say both Reuven and Shimon both got matna Shchiv Merah. Also not a problem. Nami Avani Alei, he gave it to him. Leis Bapseda either. There's no loss either, because regardless of the fashion of the form of the second star, the Basraisa Zachi. The second star is the one that always wins when it comes to Shchiv Merah. The Kahodar Be'mikamaisa, he regretted the first one. Yeah, he wrote a will in Tishrei. He really didn't. We think he gave the will on Tishrei to Reuven, and then there was another matana to Shimon. Shimon wins. So very good. There's no concern, and that's why if he says give it, we give it, because the Shchiv Merah has no chash of star. The Shchiv Merah does not have the problem of the star mukdam. Kiktani bebraisa. Kiktani bebraisa. Afal pi sheshnei moedim lo yachzir lo leze velo leze. When did the Braisa say don't give either? When he says, yeah, give Reuven the maton. Yeah, very good, give it to him. When do we have the red light, blinking and saying, hey, something's wrong here, and we don't give it to Reuven and Kislev, an earlier star of Tishrei? Bebari, a regular star. I gift him right now, right this second. I'm a young, healthy guy of 35. The Lav Bar Me'adaru, obviously, it's a regular star. Regular kinyan that is not reversible. Regular kinyanim are not revocable. Damrin, and we say, Dilma Kosvo Lehai Mikoro. Maybe he wrote Mikoro, the same old story. Maybe he wrote Reuven originally in Tishrei, the Imlich Velo Yavale. He did not give it to Reuven. He kept it in his drawer, never gave it to Reuven. Then he gave to Shimon and Cheshvan and gave it to him. Now he regrets giving it to Shimon. It's not so friendly with him anymore, for whichever reason. And he thinks, what am I going to do now? I can't go back on giving Shimon. Shimon has it with all illegal. It's written in the tabu. It's Shimon's through and through. What can I do to take it back? How can I rewrite history? We all want to do it before Rosh Hashanah. We say all the Averis we did. I have a solution, says the Yetzer Hara to Mr. Giver. Good solution. I'll tell them, the good finder, I get this magical phone call. Did you lose a star in the Takana Merkazi? Yes, I did. And yes, please give it to Reuven. You'll be my best friend. And I want to give it now to Reuven in Kislev. He was found in Hanukkah, in Kislev. And what? But it's written Tishrei. Whoop, yeah. When Reuven will present his star, the Kodim, Zochabehu, yeah, then Reuven will illegally, falsely, forgely, hoaxly, he'll get it using the law that the first comes first served, because it's a regular star, it's classical star mukdam. That's our concern. Now you may ask, no. But maybe Miss Reuven, I'm asking now a question, and the Gemara is going to answer it soon. Maybe we don't have that chash. Maybe there is no Shimon in the background, and then Reuven lost the matana. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe erase this part. That's in Chachamim's heilige mind that maybe Shimon is losing. Maybe we don't know of the existence of Shimon. We're concerned maybe there's a losing side here. But if there's no Shimon, poor Reuven is the innocent guy. The giver is the innocent guy. He's Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, and he's a Baal Shem Tov, the two tzaddikim, and what? And you're making Reuven lose for nothing. What's going on? The Gemara has a solution for that too. We don't just tell, you're asking what to do. You like this one, Ellen. You like the practical answers. Basically, we're saying, we don't say don't give back to Reuven. We have an alternative solution. Ella, therefore, but what do we say? Amrinale anon, we Beth Din tell Mr. Giver, hi Ksava, this star, Mr. We're so sorry. We're concerned. We're not giving it to Reuven, and we have to explain why. I saw in the Meforshim here in the Achronim they say When you give a psak in Beis Din, you have to explain why. Because vasisa yoshel v'atoiv, you have to give reasoning and don't behave like a tyrant. Explain, don't be like in North Korea, like in this Amud Yomi shir, yeah? Be nice and explain what you do, yeah? Be democratic. And we explain, give her why we don't allow the shtar to be now given back to Reuven. And we say, Dilma michtav kosvas, maybe you gave it to, maybe you wrote it to Reuven, may have lo yavet mialei, maybe you never gave it to his hand, so he's never really the owner. They have talini shachrina, and maybe you gave the same land to another person later. We call him Shimon, which got in Cheshvan. Remember, Reuven, Tishrei, Shimon, Cheshvan. Bekahader Bay. And you really regretted giving Shimon, who's not your friend anymore, now playing tricks to try and pull the carpet from under his feet. Oh, now comes my question. The guy screams blue murder and he says, no, I didn't give it to anybody else. Okay, calm down. If you're an honest guy and you never gave it to anybody else, and there is no Shimon here in the middle of the picture, the kabois, the totva lahai, and you want to give it to Reuven, and you say, poor Reuven is losing. We have a good solution. Very easy, and so easy. And ksiv lehash teksav achrina. Write him now a different star from Kislev. Write a new one. Write a new one. Write a new star in Kislev. Here, life can never be better. It's Kislev, but the light of the beautiful Hanukkah candles. Oy. Write him a new star. Actually, you shouldn't use the light of the Hanukkah candles for that. Yeah, write him a new star. The Yavani Alei, and give it to him now. Why? The Iyavat Leini Shachrina, because then both sides are happy. Both Beis Din are concerned, and both you are always happy. Because let's say you gave it to Shimon, Leis Bapseda, the Kadim Zachi. Very good. In other words, if you give Reuven now the star and you write a new star, new solution, new star, big red letters, give Reuven a new star dated from now, from Kislev. Write him a new shining star. Give him a star now. And then both Beis Din with their concern and both Mr. Giver claims innocence, they're both happy. Why? Because if there is no previous history, there are no other lakuchas, then he didn't lose anything. Instead of being the owner in Tishrei, he'll be the owner in Kislev. Usually it's a problem to be late, but excuse me, you say nobody else got it anyways, right? There are no other issues according to you, Mr. Giver. You should be happy, Kislev. And if we are concerned that there is another guy, we are in the back of our minds say maybe there is another Shimon over there who's losing. He won't be losing because he's in Cheshvan and he's in Kislev. Kislev is 1 month later, and then in case there's a forgery and stories and trickery, no problem, because we secured the imaginary Shimon place by writing the new star after Shimon, and Shimon being the first guy. That's beautiful. Perfect. The etzem, that's the answer we'll stay with conceptually. And what? Regular star, exactly, beautiful. However, there's a problem with the wording. Yeah? So in one line, again, one line, we're always concerned about regular stars being played around with backdating. We hate backdating, it's always a problem. Except for where? Shchivmera. Shchivmera, again, it's not backdating on purpose and a lie. The star that's earlier is always the winner, except for Shchivmera. The Shchivmera, the earlier star, is the loser. So there's no chashash. Very nice. So when it's a regular matano, it's okay. It's not okay. It's a chashash. When it's a Shchivmera, it's okay. Maskif lo Rav Zvid. Rav Zvid is now attacking this, and he's asking a simple question. In both cases, in other words, it's a very, very nice answer conceptually, but as we learned in yeshiva, it doesn't fit into the words. Because both Mishnah and Braisa spoke about daitiki. What's a daitiki? A will, a shchimera. So how can you say one of them talks about a regular matano, but it says outright, I'm sorry, daitiki, right? So how do you explain that? Elomar Rav Zvid. And therefore Rav Zvid gives a similar answer. He gives an answer that follows the same logic, but with another factor. Omar Rav Zvid like this. You forced by the wording of the Braisa and the Mishnah, both the problematic case and the good case you do give, the both are matna shchivmera. And it's not difficult. In one case, we're concerned and we hold back and red light and don't give him. The other case, we say, go ahead and give him. In one case, we're concerned of that imaginary Shimon losing in the background. In one case, not. Now it's a tiny bit more complicated, but really it's not. Honestly, it's really not so hard. who is the one who comes to Beth Din? Who is the one that actually talks to us and tells us give? Is it the person himself who's still alive? Yeah, Harav Gitztin, here's your shining moment. Is the person still alive? He was an old man. Yeah. So in one case, we talk about the person himself saying, yes, give him. I'm the Shchivmara. I'm lying down now in Lolenu. I'm not trying to be funny at all. He's lying in a hospital, very hard condition, almost dead. And he says, yes, give it to Reuven. That's one case. And then it's good, right? Then it's good. Because if the person gave a Shchivmara gift, right? And he says, give. Why? Because then there's no way of lying by Shchivmara. Shchivmara being maybe earlier, he's not winning. He's not overtaking anybody, from left field. No. What happens if the guy died? The giver died, and now his son is taking care of business, and his son is the one who tells us, yes, I'm, hello, Mr. So-and-so, I found something in Tachana Merkazit. Are you Mr. Ruben Steinfeld? I'm his son. And yes, give it to Reuven. Give to Reuven. Yeah, right now, give Reuven. When the son talks and says give, we have the red light on. Why? Listen to this. Masnisin, our Mishnah, the Ka'omer Tnu, Noisnin, the Mishnah that said that if he said give, we give, Bedidei. That's the person himself in the Matna Shchivmira. We proved through fire and water, we proved very well, the Bar Mehadaru, right? Because Shchivmira is a revocable, reversible matono, Bar Mehadaru, the Amrinan, we say there's no concern of Shchivmira gift to, there's no mukdam, there's no trying to bring it earlier. Inami avalini shachrina, even if you gave it to Shimon and regretted in the whole story, leis bapseda, our imaginary friend Shimon, who may have gotten it, we're concerned maybe there's somebody else in the background who's crying and losing, he wouldn't be losing. The kama ubasa, here the Mishnah actually says, here the Gemara speaks it much clearer, by the way, than before. Sorry. What's kama in Basra? Kama Basra. First one and last one, Basra Zochi, right? In the case of Shchimera, the later the better. The second wheel out, how do you say it? Cancels out, right? The first one, and that's Aloche. Yeah. The Hahodar Be Mikama, he regretted the first one. That's all very good. Ooh. Why is it that when the sun, the Yoirish kicks in, why is it that we have all the red lights blinking and we're putting the brakes here? Ki katani Braisa, afal pi sheshne moidim lo yachzir lo lezeh velo lezeh. When the Braisa said that even though both of them admit, meaning Mr. Son in this case, Bebrei, the son says, I'm the son of Mr. Giver, and I'm telling you, give it to the recipient. And the recipient surprisingly says, give it to me. And they both agree, such an ideal situation. Here we have the red lights on. The Amrinan we say as follows. Dilma, similar chashash to before, but with a tweak. Maybe Kosav Avua Lehai, maybe the father originally wrote it to same chashash to Reuven in Tishrei before his death. The Imlach below Yava Mialei, and he regretted and never gave it to Reuven. And you know what happened after Tishrei? A Levaya of Mr. Giver is going and he's dead, and he has a star in his office desk given to who? To not given. Hey, I'm making a mistake. Written, sealed, and signed, and written to Reuven, but never given. He died with his dark secrets. He wanted to give Reuven, never gave him. Okay, all very nice. Now the son is the heir, enjoying the good heir. Ubasar demi savua, after the father, do we have to add the word mis in the gear? So after his father died, kosav iu, Mr. Son comes in. Mr. JR, you know JR? JR in Cheshvan, what did he do? The junior, Mr. Son of him, kosav iu leinish achrina. Mr. Son, he gave Shimon, a different guy in Cheshvan, Biavale, and Mr. Son, Ba'ashtakahoder Be'mahu. And now Mr. Son of Giver regrets giving Shimon. Shimon didn't really give me a nice gift for my Shiva. I'm not saying he should. He didn't visit me nicely in the Shiva, didn't listen to my Kaddish. I would say, I know, what are you talking about? They were fighting over the Amud. Of course. Shimon is in Ovel, and this guy's in Ovel. They had a fist fight over the Amud to respect their fathers, right? And now he regrets giving Shimon. That's a big covet for the mace. You fight for the, of course, very much. And you break a shul for that. Can't think of a better Ilan Neshama. In any event, so now he regrets giving the gift to Shimon, but now he's stuck. What can I do? I gave it to the chimney, and it's all sealed, all by the lawyer, all by the Beth Din. Savar, no, he's scratching his head, Mr. Son. Nehadar, lo Metzia nehadar nabi. I can't regret the matana. And here came a beautiful moment. Oh, Hashem loves me. When the nice moment came, and Hanukkah, he gets a phone call from Tahana Merkazit. A nice guy called and says, "Are you Mr. So-and-so? Did you lose a star that's saying that Reuven is the owner from Tishrei?" Yes, give it to Reuven. Of course. Give the star of the same land that my father Ki'ilu gave Reuven but never really gave him. Aha. Ki Emer Lehu, I will tell them, the finders and Beth Din and whoever, the Abba Yahabele Lahai. I will lie. You have to lie for money for this. What can you do? Shalom. I will tell them that my father gave him the star Shchivmera before his death, right? Before his death, yeah. And now we'll give it to him. Sove, Venezil Venofik Minei, and then we will take it out of Shimon and say, "I'm sorry, Shimon. I'll fake it as if I'm sad, and I'll go to Shimon, which I don't like anymore. My competitor of the Amud. I'll go and I'll say, no. I'm so sorry, Shimon. I gave you a false gift. Just realized that really my father gave that same piece of land to Mr. Reuven before you were even in the picture. I'm so sorry, but I have to snatch the land out of you." Who is Zachi? The Reuven guy in this case comes first, right? Because obviously the death of the father in Tishrei here is before. Because once the father is dead, then the Shchivmera gift cannot be reversed. Get what I'm saying? Yeah. If it's true that had it been true, the Reuven is the owner from Tishrei from before the death, or right second after the death, then of course Reuven is first. He's playing it as if Reuven is before Shimon, and in this case it could be a lie that would help Reuven. Why is he so nice to Reuven? The Niflok Ba'adei, we'll share half, Reuven and I. I'll share half the gains. Knunia, a classical Knunia. Again, you get the story. Again, what's the story? The Chashash is as follows. You find it at the Chana Merkazi, and then what happened? You say, had we said, yeah, give it to Reuven, now in Kislev, and it says in the star that it's really Tishrei, then we would say, yeah, that's a Matna Shchivmera that was actualized by the death of the father, and the gift given by the son to Shimon is invalid, and that's what the son wants. He wants Shimon to get out of the land, and he wants to have it to Reuven and even share it with Reuven. Hilkach, so how do we resolve that? What's the solution? Maybe Reuven is a nice, innocent guy, and really Shimon is, and really there is no Shimon. So what do we say? The same solution. Amin and Lay would tell him as follows: Anan as haik sovo lo yavin and Lay lehoy. We're not giving that ksav to this guy. No, we're not going to give the writing, the star to Reuven. Why not? The Dilma, maybe the same concern. Maybe michtav kasvei avua. Maybe your father wrote the star to Reuven before his death as let's say even matna shchivmera, or even not. Actually, it doesn't make a difference because once he's dead, it kicks in anyways. Yeah, me'av lo yavale, and he never gave it to him. You pretend as if it is. We're saying no. Maybe he just wrote it to Reuven, never gave it to Reuven. It was just hidden in his, not hidden so well because it got lost. Maybe it was there somewhere in his papers. Yeah. We're concerned. We tell the son, maybe you gave the same piece of land to who? To somebody else, which we call Shimon after the death. You regretted giving Shimon because you don't like Shimon anymore for whichever reason. And therefore, you're trying to play games with us. By being so enthusiastic to give it back to Reuven, it's never getting back to Reuven. It's coming to Reuven for the first time. It was never in his hands. Now it's in his hands and it's backdated Ki'ilu. Whoop! The same old chash of being Ki'ilu in Tishrei. Yeah? Yes? And therefore, we offer the other solution of writing it now. Go ahead with a question. 1 second. Now, Orch has the question, what about the Eidim? So let me be more specific. If the Eidim are written on the star, that was written for Reuven and never given, but the Eidim never saw it being given one way or the other, then it won't help at all. Because of course there are Eidim that the star was written in Tishrei, and you can write the star Matono. Again, I want to stress, Zochin Odom Shelo Befonov. If I want to give one of the many millions I have to Baruch, yeah, for being so nice, yeah, and I write it with the Edim, yeah, the star, I can write star, and even somebody else can even be zochet to you because it's a zchus for you, it's a good thing for you. So if the Edim are signed on the star that shchimera or regular maton or matna ke'en shchimera, obviously those Edim are there, but they don't prove anything about the date being given. So they won't help. However, Jeffrey, I think that's what Jeffrey meant. If Enochanami, the Edim testified that the day was given, then we don't have a chashash. Enochanami. If we know, had we known when the star was given by Edim, then that solves this entire problem. Then you can go home, obviously. So that's my answer. Ede Chasima do not help here. Ede Nisina, if there are any, of course they would prove a problem. They would solve the problem because then we know that Reuven wasn't only written, was really given to Reuven. We're concerned maybe it wasn't. It's a good point, Jeffrey and Baruch. If in this entire story there are Edim regarding the date star given, no problem whatsoever. Very good. And that's why you have to consult with Beth Din when you find a star in the street. Because Beth Din will look for the Edim, do the halachic procedure. You can't just be overly enthusiastic and overly zoris and too much alacrity is sometimes not good. You can't run and give it back to him because maybe this whole chash. If there are Edim and the Nesina, that would solve the problem beautiful. Okay, continue. Yeah, is it clear? Is this more clear to everyone? Yeah, I'll summarize again. I'll finish the two more lines and I'll summarize. Yeah, now. Yeah. Now, Ella, we are in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth wide line. Ella, so what do we tell Mr. Son? Now, what is the son going to claim now? The son would go, his jaw will be in the floor, as one of you likes to say, and say, what? Beth Din, I'm sorry. I gave a gift to who? Or my father gave a gift to Reuven. I know Reuven is a friend of the family. Because of I don't want to be disrespectful to Beth Din and call you paranoid, but because you're concerned maybe there's a shimon in the middle that I gave him, a monkey in the middle, shimon in the middle, which I gave, and maybe I'm regretting, because of that Reuven's going to lose? Maybe not. Maybe I'm not a liar. And maybe Reuven is an honest guy, and so is my father, and so am I. And maybe now, because you're telling me to hold back the star, you're telling the finder not to give the star. Maybe Reuven is losing. What's the solution? As we said before. Yeah, now. Do it now. Ella, if it's true what you're saying, the Yavle Avuch, you say your version of the story is not this twisted Kilu version. You say the father gave it to him in Tishrei. He gave him a matana before he died. And you're making Reuven lose his legal money, his legal law. Calm down. Very good. Seal, go now. What's hashta? Now. You go now. Write him another star. And life will be beautiful. Write him a star, dating now from Kislev, Chafi Kislev. The Inami, because now we're covering both grounds. This would be a good way to cover both grounds, to fit both stories. Yes. Why? The ina, one more line, give me, please. The inami lo yavua. If it's our version of the story, that maybe the father never gave it to Reuven, uksavte aslin shachrina, and he wrote it to who? To Shimon. You wrote Shimon a star after your father's death. Leis bapseida. Then Mr. Shimon would not lose. Our imaginary chash guy Shimon is not losing. The kama ubasra, first versus second, kama zochi. The first one wins. Give Reuven the star. If you're right, and there is no dark, funny history here, and it's all kosher v'yosher, everything is good. So what happened? Makara. Then Reuven got his gift later. Now, usually getting gifts later is a problem because maybe there are other people involved. Your version of the story, there are no other people here. He's saying Reuven is the only star in the show. Fine. If Reuven is the only game in town, better. Machpat. So 2 months he lost, or 3, sometime. He gets it later, right? Any other star got lost. He didn't have a proof, yeah? Now he's going to get it now. And if we are right, it's also good because now we made sure that had there been any funny stories before, then those funny stories, meaning maybe somebody really got it, Shimon, then it's also okay because Shimon comes before Reuven because Reuven is dated after Shimon. So then Shimon will be the winner. And if there is a Shimon who's the real owner, Shimon will come to Beth Din with his star that precedes, that comes before the second star written now. And all is good and all is fine. And that's a solution. Yes? I'm listening. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Look, Rob, have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get.